Have you ever contemplated the peanut butter cup? It's a simple fusion of two common ingredients, milk chocolate and peanut butter. Somebody had to come up with that original idea. It was back in 1928 that Harry Burnett Rees actually thought of putting these two ingredients together and offering them for sale. But he didn't invent the ingredients. Daniel Peter invented milk chocolate back in 1876 by combining together two other ingredients, milk flakes and crushed cocoa beans. And the Incas were making peanut butter more than 3,000 years ago. What Rees did was actually fuse together two existing ideas. And that's what the paradox of innovation is, the mistaken belief that your ideas have to be completely original. Well, nothing comes from nothing. It's not like you have a flash of genius out of the darkness. All ideas come from somewhere. Creative ideas are more often a fusion of fragments of ideas and the DNA of ideas. We put them together in some interesting way, typically not previously thought of, to make something new, something better. And that's what I call innovative fusion. So first we need to ask, why are we even talking about innovation? I think the first reason is, there's an old cliche. Insanity is said to be doing the same things in the same way and expecting different results. Have you ever heard that one? Yep. Yeah. Well, I completely disagree. I think insanity is doing the same things in the same way and expecting the same results in an ever-changing environment. When was the last time you experienced change? Last year? Last week? On the way here today? Just because something worked last year doesn't mean it's going to work next year. And that rate of change is accelerating. We can't even count on solving tomorrow's problems with yesterday's solutions. We need new ideas, new innovations, new methods just to keep from falling behind. I think another reason that innovation matters is it's only through innovation that we can discover our competitive advantage and new markets to exploit. And the third reason I think we need innovation is believe it's only through innovation that we're ever going to actually be able to make the world a better place. So with innovation crucial to surviving and thriving, how do we improve our innovation fusion muscles? Well, let me tell you, it's not by sitting in front of your computer and trying to think big theoretical thoughts. You've got to get out into the world. You have to experience new experiences. You have to expand that library of experiences. Because innovation is a byproduct of experiences. If you have the same experiences as everyone around you, you're likely to have the same ideas as everyone around you. So go to museums, go to junkyards, meet new people, go to new restaurants, get out of familiar surroundings. Wander around unplanned and unfettered. Meet new things, experience new things, be curious, ask a lot of questions, touch things, taste things, smell things. Take Sherlock Holmes' advice and learn to observe, not just see. But observation is an acquired skill, and it requires practice. I also think you need to get out of your comfort zone because innovation is context sensitive. When you can take an idea that's commonplace someplace else and apply it at home when it's unknown, you look brilliant. Here's one example. Turn of the 20th century, Henry Ford wanted to build a simple, reliable, affordable car. A car that the average American worker could afford. But Ford was using the same manufacturing methods as everyone else, which meant his car was as expensive as everyone else's. Then Ford came here to Chicago to tour the Swift Armor meatpacking plant. While there, he stumbled upon the method that every meatpacker uses to get the different cuts of meat off the bone, the moving disassembly line, where instead of moving the worker to the workstation, you move the workstation to the worker. Now, this method was commonplace in meatpacking, but it was unheard of in automobile manufacturing 1.0. So what Ford did is he combined the idea of a moving assembly line with the idea of mass-produced interchangeable parts. an idea that was commonplace in China 1,000 years ago, but unheard of in US manufacturing. Now, Ford didn't invent the automobile, and he didn't invent either of these methodologies. His genius lay in adapting and combining each of these methodologies in a unique way. What enabled Ford to generate the auto manufacturing 2.0 was going on a field trip and crowdsourcing his ideas. Then in 1956, Toshiro Ono came on a field trip to Detroit. And he toured the Ford plant trying to come up with new ideas. But while he was at the Ford plant, he took a trip to a local grocery store. And while there, he saw the way the grocery store handled their produce and their perishables. And from that, he invented what is known today as the Toyota production system, thus inventing auto manufacturing 3.0, again based on a field trip. There are other ways that you can improve your innovation skills, and that is by using metaphors and analogies. Because metaphors make the complex simple and the unfamiliar familiar. If you have no connection at all with the aviation industry, but I say the words Airbus, what comes to mind? Big planes, right? Okay. So back in the 80s, I started a company to rent computers. I know it sounds strange, but back then we didn't have a computer on every desktop like we do today. The only way that my staff could get their brain around the business we were in is we considered our product to be temporary technology. So every computer we sent out has to be custom assembled to meet the exact needs of each customer. So we operated our assembly process like going to the grocery store. We took a cart, and we went up and down our parts aisles, and we selected the piece and parts that we needed for each order. Like in a grocery store, the most common items were at eye level. The less common items were either up high or down low. Once we had all the pieces parts we needed, we'd take our cart and go to the checkout lane, where we'd barcode scan each of the pieces parts and assign them to the customer. Every new employee immediately understood the process. It required zero training. Why is everything you look for always in the last place you look? Well, of course, because once you find it, you stop looking. Now, that may be a good idea for your cell phone and your keys, but it maybe isn't the best idea when it comes to ideas. Just because you find an answer doesn't mean it's the best answer. A better idea could be just one more thought away. Here's a real-life example. Many people believe that Thomas Edison is America's most prolific inventor. Yet a pair of French filmmakers, the Lumiere brothers, were able to invent the world's first film projector by improving upon Edison's kinetoscope, a primitive motion picture viewer. Their biggest challenge was how to get the film to move across and then stop in front of the lens, move across and then stop. They were able to take Edison's idea one step further by incorporating the mechanism like that used in a sewing machine, which also moves and stops, moves and stops. One more idea. Another way to improve our innovation skills is to follow the lead of many great thinkers who take readily available technologies and combine them in new, interesting ways. Imagine it's the middle of the 15th century, and you're a bookbinder. Every book that you produce, you either have to copy by hand or stamp out one at a time with wood blocks. How do you make your life easier? Well, if you're Johann Gutenberg living in the Rhine Valley of what today is Germany, you couple together two readily available mature technologies, the coin punch and the wine press, in order to create mechanized printing using movable type. It was this interesting combination and repurposing of existing technologies in a unique way that forever changed the world. It enabled the mass production of books and the spreading of knowledge and ideas. Oh, wait a minute. TED Conference, 15th Century Edition. The lead character of a 1980s TV show is another great example of a person to follow when it comes to innovative fusion. In the TV show MacGyver, every week, MacGyver would get himself in some impossible situation, right? And every week, he'd grab for whatever tools and resources were readily available, and he'd put them together in some interesting way and get himself out of trouble. All right, how about we turn back to real life? 1880, German peddler named Antoine Feuchtwanger. Try to say that 3 times fast. He was selling hot sausages in the streets of St. Louis, Missouri. As the story goes, Feuchtwanger would loan gloves to his patrons so they could handle the hot sausages without burning their fingers. But the patrons often walked away with the gloves. He was running out of them. So his wife suggested, smart wives, thank you very much, to wrap the sausages with bread. So the sausage vendor turned to his brother-in-law, a baker, for some help. Well, instead of using slices of bread, the baker improvised these long, soft rolls shaped to fit the meat, thus inventing the hot dog bun. Now, some people dispute this hot dog bun origin story. Whatever the answer is, somebody at some point had the idea of fusing a bread product and adapting it to fit the sausage in order to create a great American icon. How about one more example? The summer of 1904 at the Louisiana Purchase Exposition, Ernest Hamwi was trying to sell a Syrian waffle-like pastry called a zalabe. But in the heat of summer, you want to buy a hot waffle? Then an opportunity presented itself. The ice cream vendor in the next booth over ran out of serving dishes. Hamwi had an idea. He quickly rolled one of his wafer-like waffles into the shape of a cone, gave it to the ice cream vendor, who filled it with ice cream. It was a big hit with the customers, and the ice cream cone was on its way to becoming a summertime favorite. Being able to connect and combine non-obvious ideas and objects are the essential elements of innovative fusion. There are always opportunities for creative entrepreneurs who can take existing technologies and existing ideas and adapt and fuse them in interesting ways. And as you can tell from these examples, that spark of innovation often begins with the identification of a pain point or an opportunity. If you're going to be creative, you have to learn to not only accept mistakes, but to celebrate them. Because innovation is not linear and orderly. It's messy and chaotic. If you're trying to create something new, you're going to make mistakes. I have to believe if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. As a matter of fact, I believe that you should make it a goal to make mistakes sooner and faster than you are now if what you want is to achieve innovative breakthroughs. I think you should aim for not instant perfection, but continual innovation. One of the ways to do that is to change your perspective. Look at mistakes not as stumbling blocks, but as stepping stones. But let me be clear. Innovation isn't only about new products and new technology, the sexier side of business. We can apply innovative fusion techniques to existing business processes. And to me, one of the best examples is Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin-Robbins. They've been owned by the same parent company since 1994. In 1995, they opened their first combined outlet. Now, I think this is a brilliant idea for many reasons, not the least of which is the tasty treats, but it offers the customers greater selection and greater convenience. It offers the company a way to maximize their sales potential, to increase their efficiency, and to save a lot of money. The world is hungry for creative minds that can generate new ideas. There's high demand for creative entrepreneurs who can take those ideas and bring them to life and to ultimately create new products and new services. And there's always a need for creative, skilled workers who can actually make and produce and deliver these new products and services. Let me leave you with these parting thoughts. You can develop your innovative fusion muscles by using provocative metaphors, by building on existing ideas, and by finding inspiration in unlikely places. I think you want to just look around you. Everywhere you go, there's some idea that you can store in your memory bank, so when the opportunity comes up, you go, now wait a minute, I've seen that before. If you want to be innovative, free yourself from the burden of trying to be completely original. Stop trying to make something from nothing. Take some risks. Look for more than one right answer. The capacity for innovation is universal. Believe in your creative abilities and the value of your ideas, because your ideas may be delicious, and maybe just maybe, they'll change the world.